All right, so welcome to the MdC 4-H Club Leader Training for August of 2023. Like I said, I'm Carla Hightower. I'm the 4-H Youth Development Agent for the MdC District. And I do appreciate you all taking a little bit of time to find out a little bit more about some of the upcoming events, do a little bit of training for our club leaders. We're going to talk about some different things. And if you have any questions at any time, I'm trying to do the meeting chat. So I have a little bit of problem sometimes when I'm presenting and keeping track of that too, but I'm trying to leave it up on my screen. So hopefully I can do that. And of course, you can always unmute yourself to ask questions too, especially if I change one or if somebody sees that I'm missing a meeting chat from some of those that are having some issues with mics and different things. Go ahead and let me know, please. And if for some reason you think of something after this is all over, like tomorrow or in the future, you can always contact me and let me know, because I'm here to help you and I want to be supportive. So I appreciate everything you do, and we'll go from there. Okay, so kind of the agenda for tonight. I am going to talk awards and recognition, and I'm going to probably cover this pretty quick because I know I did an email blast out to all of our 4-H families in the MdC District for those, although some of the emails did come back. We're going to talk about the club reports that are needed here in the next couple of months. We're also going to talk about enrollment, which will be happening in October. So we'll have youth and volunteer enrollment. We're going to talk about positive youth development using the Thrive model. And I have a quick video that we'll talk about, and then we'll talk about some ways to implement that, which is that fostering developmental relationships. We'll talk about ways to implement that. And then talk quick on window displays and posters and kind of what a club is. So let's move on. All right, so first, awards and recognition. And everything in this category is due October 2nd to either the Paola or the Mound City office. So with that, our record books. So our record books are Kansas 4-H project report forms. And they have them in different age groups for each member. There's a junior, a senior, and an intermediate. So they just need to pick what age they were by January 1st of 2023, and then they pick which one they do. There is also a general, and there's an animal one. The animal one is for all animals except, I believe, dog and pets. So those can be the general report form. You do one per project area. I just encourage everyone to do one, but figure out what project you are really passionate about, or your 4-H'er is really passionate about, and concentrate on that project report form. If you want to do more, that's perfectly fine, and that's great. But I'm of the big opinion that I'd rather everyone do one than have 2 kids do 10. So if you don't have the time and you're just trying to get started, please just attempt, just try one for the first year and go from there. It does include a Kansas 4-H personal page and the project report form. And I think there is a checklist, and I keep forgetting to put that on there, and I need to do that. Like I said, it's due October 2nd. Each project report form should be in a separate folder or binder. So this isn't really your record book necessarily. This is just a report form you're going to turn in. You can keep the big green binder record book for yourself and keep those together. And like I said, I encourage all 4-H members to complete at least one project report form for at least one project. I know a lot of people, I hear the complaints and, the kind of things, but I'm also like, this does teach valuable life skills to our 4-H'ers, including record keeping, filling out forms, how to, evaluate, set goals, all of those things. And so it's really important that we actually do that, because it will set up our kids for success later in life. So that's kind of a quick rundown on record books. Going kind of to PIN applications, we have the MdC District Member Achievement PIN application. This has been around for a couple of years. It's all one application. You just kind of do a check marks. It also really helps with your permanent record as well, because it's almost a permanent record. Just needs a little bit more information to become a permanent record. So I have said that you can include the state of Kansas is requiring a permanent record again. And so at least at the local level, and so I am asking that you put that with your PIN application. Um, we do have it on the PIN application that if you complete a project report form, you might not have to do a permanent record, but, and I don't know about that. I just noticed that that was on that one for this year. So that might have been a typo, but we're going to run with it since it was there. And I'll have to figure out if I can keep that going or not. And then just a reminder that kids can skip pins, but they cannot go back and get a pin after skip. So sometimes we have 4-Hers who maybe join when they're 12, 10, 11, 12. And maybe the first year they probably do get the membership year the first year, but maybe that second year they've gotten really involved and they need to go to a silver pin instead of, or a clover pin, then I can't even remember the next ones, but go up a couple years because they've done enough. And that way they can stay also and get all the bigger pins as they go. So that's okay. Just you can't go back and get like that bronze pin after you've skipped it. So if you have any questions on either one of these, feel free to ask me. We have a lot of information on our webpage and some that the state has. They have tutorials, not on PIN applications, but on record books. Using Z Suites is good on record books too. I'm sorry, I'm skipping back over because I forgot about that Z Suites thing on the record books. So, but yes, Z Suites is an online version of the record books, and it also does have the permanent record there as well. If you are filling out the permanent record, I would suggest filling out your PIN application, and the PIN application says where each thing on the PIN application goes in the permanent record. So it'll say, put this in section 1 or put this in section 2. So you can and then you can just add dates, times, or dates and, kind of what you did and a little more explanation in your permanent record. But it really is kind of the cheat sheet for that permanent record. All right, just so you all know, we have a couple of special awards. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Key Award, and this is for youth 16 and older. It's all across the state of Kansas. The application is the state of Kansas's application, and you have to have over 4 years of 4-H experience and over four or more years of leadership project enrollment. So that's your qualifications, and then I think you have to do 9 of the remaining 12 optional things. And it kind of focuses on leadership and citizenship. It is the most prestigious award that we have in the state of Kansas, or one of the most. It is one of those, the top level kids that have stayed in for many years, get and do lots of leadership and community service and club work, receive this pin. So if you know of anyone who is in that age range and qualifies for that, you might encourage them. It is it's not a really hard application. It's just a couple pages long, and it just kind of goes through, and you have to kind of explain like what years you've done things and what you've done, and that type of thing. So applications are form fillable. They're on our website, and they are due October 2nd as well to either office. So. And then the other specialty award we have is the I Dare You Leadership Award, and this is for both counties now. So you must be 14 and older, and you need to demonstrate leadership in your club and community. And 14 and older, of course, is by 4-H age, so January 1st, 2023. This is just you actually get an I Dare You book by William Danforth, I believe. And it is kind of a neat book because it's one of those awards that I actually received when I was a 4-Her. So, and I did read the book. But it's basically it's for those kids who excel at leadership in their club and community, so, and rewards them. So if you know of anyone who's doing that in our 4-H club, please let us know and make sure to encourage them to apply for that as well. It'd be nice to have a whole bunch of both Key Awards and I Dare You Leadership Awards, because I know we have some 4-Hers who would definitely qualify for both of those. Okay, so the other one that is due, this kind of our awards applications, is our club project report forms. And I did send out an email today, I believe, with the club project report form on it. These are those club projects. I talked about them last year on one of these Zoom calls, but there are year-long educational activities that your clubs do. So if you didn't do one this year, but you want to do one next year, this is the time of year to start planning that. Put it in your program, start thinking about ways you can do different things. There's different areas you can apply for. There's a healthy living, a civic engagement, a STEM and agriculture, a communications and the arts, and then a 4-H promotion as well. So if you have some ideas like, explorers, Rebecca said something about them doing back to school nights. Well, that would be a great 4-H promotion. You can do more than one if you want to, but I do encourage clubs to do at least one to kind of give them, just kind of give them a focus for the year. And then, you just do different things, like whether it's community service projects, or maybe you're doing healthy living and you're participating in Walk Kansas and having some, health classes during, or, healthy foods lessons during your meeting. It doesn't have to be really in depth. It just needs to be a little something to do that. So those are form fillable on the website as well, or like I said, I emailed those out as to you today. So if you didn't receive them for some reason, let me know. Okay.
I have a quick question back on the Key Award and the
Yes.
I Dare You Award. Are those awarded to any member that qualifies, or is there so many that we give per county, or how does that work?
It is any member who qualifies. It used to be, the Key Award used to be you had to be the top 10%, but they have changed that in the, well, it's probably been over 20 years since they changed that. But yeah, it is anyone who applies who qualifies now on both those awards. So good question. Any other questions on the awards and record books? Okay, I'm going to move on. If you think of something, as I told you earlier, just let us know or interrupt. So club forms that are due, we're getting close to that year end, and there's a couple different club forms that we need to do. One of the first things is annual financial reviews. So those have to be turned in by November 1st to keep your charter active. And if you don't have an active charter, you can't raise money for 4-H. You can't have people enroll in your 4-H club and all of those. So start now, get them, start getting them ready so that you can have those in to me by November 1st. Couple of things: the financial review committee cannot be any signatures or close relatives of signatures on the account, and by close relatives, immediate family. So, if you're on the account, you can't be on the financial review committee, or, anybody, your family members can't be on that financial review committee, your daughter, your son, whatever. Committees really should be 2 adults and 2 youth. I know it's hard to find the time, but even if you do it, if you schedule it to happen like before or after your October club meeting or something like that, would be great. And then basically what they do is they review all 4-H club treasurer documentation for the year and make suggestions for future treasurers. It's not a hard process. There is a form that you have to fill out, and it also lays out the process and what all you do. And then that form gets turned into us. I review it, and then we turn around and have the Marais District Board also has to approve those and put those in the minutes, because ultimately they are responsible for all monies raised in the name of 4-H and accounts in 4-H's name. So that's part of the reason we have to do this. It's also, it's helps you and make sure that nothing has happened, tries to make sure that things are getting done correctly, and all of those things. So it's really important. Don't wait, start thinking about it now, start working on it here at your September meeting. Trying to get that, if you haven't already got an annual financial review committee, maybe even for next year, go ahead and put it in your committees and just make it a standing committee that you have every year, because you will have to do this every year. Whatever works for your club, but make sure. And if for some reason your club is small enough and you can't find enough people to be on your financial review committee, maybe talk to another club that's close by or another club leader and see if you guys can switch. And, then you guys can do, one club can do the other club's financial review and make that work. Okay. The other thing is a club leadership report. It goes by many names, but I've kind of changed it again. So it's club leadership report now, U.S. club organizational report, officer list, whatever you want to call it. We need these every year so that we know when you meet, where, and who your club leaders and officers are. It is a kind of a requirement. There's an online form or a PDF form, and those will be due by the October 2nd deadline as well. And I know that's kind of a change from maybe previous years, because I think we had it October 15th. But I think with everything being due on the same day, it might kind of help remember, and it gives us a little bit more time for those 4-H member or club leaders that I have to remind about it and give a couple more weeks to do it, because I do need those in. Okay. Any questions on those two year-end forms that we have to do? Or one's a year-end form, one's a beginning year form. But okay. All right. So one of the things in the last few years they've really been emphasizing in 4-H is they have what they call the Thrive model. And the Thrive model is basically where we talk about, I think I'm on the wrong one. That's correct. But anyway, it is kind of our positive youth development for 4-H clubs. And they're going to talk about it. This is a quick video. Hopefully you all can hear and do okay. But it is, we've had several trainings here in Kansas in the last couple of years on this. And I wanted to share it with you because you guys are the ones who meet with our 4-Hers all the time and plan a lot of the club educational activities. So I want you to be aware kind of why we do the things we do, what our intentions are, and how maybe we can make them more educational and better for our 4-Hers. So here is that video.
4-H programs have engaged young people in learning and growing for over a century. But our work is about much more than a club, camp, or after-school program. It's about helping you thrive now and in the future. The science behind 4-H is positive youth development, a strengths-based, comprehensive approach to promoting learning and development. We use this approach to ensure our programs have positive, measurable impacts on the social, emotional, behavioral, and cognitive development of our youth.
It's a leave nothing to chance process where, as 4-H educators, we don't just passively rely on the experiences of our programs to impact youth. Instead, we intentionally create high-quality settings to promote optimal development. So, how do we make sure PYD is part of every 4-H opportunity? We make decisions and build our programs based on the 4-H thriving model.
This research-based model includes 4 key ingredients that make up a high-quality 4-H program and that help you thrive in equitable and inclusive ways. These ingredients include sparks, providing a place where youth can explore and spark their personal interests. Belonging, creating an environment where all youth belong, where they feel welcome and physically and emotionally safe. Relationships, fostering positive, supportive, and empowering relationships between youth and adults, and among youth and their peers. And engagement, promoting active engagement where youth have a voice and are challenged and encouraged to pursue their own learning and growth.
How do we ensure youth thrive? In addition to providing high-quality settings, we also need to intentionally support the social-emotional learning that helps youth develop critical life skills. These skills are summarized in these 7 thriving indicators. These indicators include growth mindset, openness to challenge and discovery, sense of hope and purpose, pro-social orientation, transcendent awareness, positive emotions, and self-regulation through goal setting and management.
Youth who experience high-quality 4-H program settings with activities that promote the 7 thriving indicators achieve positive developmental outcomes, including academic motivation and success, social competence, high personal standards, connection with others, personal responsibility, and leadership and civic engagement.
Youth who achieve positive developmental outcomes are more likely to also achieve long-term wellness and success marked by vocational or academic success, civic engagement, employability and economic stability, and happiness and well-being.
In short, PYD is made possible when we intentionally use research-based methods to plan and implement our 4-H programs to help youth thrive. With this approach, we can offer high-quality developmental settings in which all youth feel empowered, build critical life skills, and have the opportunity to reach their fullest potential.
Okay, so that was a lot, I know. Oh, well, it was about 3 minutes, but there was quite a bit of information with that. And so I'm going to kind of break down some of the different things, the 4 different things: the sparks, the belonging, the relationships, and the engagement. And today I want to talk a little bit about how you fostering developmental relationships. So there are 5 dimensions of developmental relationships. Let me go back real quick. Developmental relationships between youth and adults are an important aspect of the 4-H program. And this is where you guys come in, because research shows the positive relationship between a 4-H leader and a member is an essential part of positive youth development. Developmental relations begin by creating a secure attachment between the 4-H member and an adult volunteer, reflected in mutual warmth, respect, and trust. Developmental relationships also increase in complexity over time. As youth develop, their needs within the relationship will likewise change to reflect their increasing maturity and abilities. As such, healthy developmental relationships shift power over time. Developmental relationships with younger youth are typically highly adult-driven and determined. Youth-adult relationships across the adolescent years, however, reflect the young person's increased competency in personal autonomy, decision-making, and identity formation. As youth grow, an effective 4-H program reflects these developmental changes through developmentally appropriate activities and relationships with adults. So research has revealed 5 dimensions of developmental relationships. The first one is expressing care through listening, warmth, and dependability. 2 is challenging growth by holding youth accountable, expecting them to do their best, and helping them reflect on failures. 3 is providing support by empowering and advocating for youth, as well as helping them navigate situations and systems and setting appropriate boundaries. 4 is sharing power through inclusion, respect, collaboration, and youth-adult partnerships. And 5 is expanding possibilities by exposing youth to new ideas and creating and connecting them to others who can help them reach their goals. So I know you all do these things, but I just wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about why we do the things we do and how important it is to develop those relationships with our youth. We are lucky that we usually have those relationships with youth in multiple years. And so we might see them as a 7-year-old and still be seeing them as a 14 or 15-year-old as they grow and develop and expand their knowledge and skill set. So just think about what you're doing, make sure that you're providing that support, challenging their growth, expressing care, and sharing that power, and then making sure they can expand their possibilities as you're reaching our youth. So any questions on the Thrive model and specifically fostering developmental relationships? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go on to enrollment. So that begins October 1st, and there are some changes. In fact, I just had Kansas 4-H just had a Zoom call for 2 hours Zoom call, a little over 2 hours actually, Zoom call today, and they talked about some different things that were going to be coming down the pike. I did not put those in here because I already had this done before that happened. But a couple of things that you kind of probably do need to know about is they are changing the names and some of the projects. So we are going to work on in the next month trying to get those out, and then making sure that we also have one of the things I'm going to work on is having a document that basically says, okay, so you're enrolled in this. This is where you can exhibit at fair, at the Miami County Fair, the Lynn County Fair, and maybe even state fair. So we'll see how far we go, but I do want to do at least the 2 county fairs for that as well, at least this year. So there are some changes. So be looking for that coming out. Like I said, it's going to open October 1. Returning members are due by January 15th of 2024. I do encourage everyone to do it. The quicker, the better, because we do start changing over for newsletters and different things like that. Screened volunteers, which you all are, also need to re-enroll each year to keep your screening status current. So if you have some others in your club that are screened volunteers and would like to keep that up, please remind them to go ahead and re-enroll. And then we've had a lot of problems in the past year, I'd say, or maybe even 2 years, with payments and people thinking that they paid, but the payment didn't go through, especially on credit cards, or sometimes even at the state level, they didn't credit a check. So just, I will be honest, on the Kansas 4-H Zoom call today, they said they were going to start cracking down on that a little bit. So please try to make sure that things have been paid. If you get an email from us, make sure to go in there and check your status, even if you think, oh, I already paid. Chances are, if you're getting an email from Julie or Carolyn or I or Tracy about that, that means that we are showing on our end that you have not paid and there's something wrong with the system and you need to double check it. So if you hear that, or somebody says, hey, I got an email, I don't know why, I'm sure I paid with credit card, that probably means it didn't go through and we need to pay for another way. So just to kind of let you know, more information will probably be coming. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that in our November meeting. But I wanted to kind of give you a heads up here, but as enrollment starts, that they are wanting to try to get payments through a little bit quicker and making sure that everyone does pay. It is still staying the $15 a year, so it has not went up, luckily. Everything else has went up, but not that. So other things about new families. So, we talked about how proud we are that we have a bunch of new families, but one of the reasons we have new families and we want to keep them around, we also want to keep them around, but we want to make sure that we're welcoming and we make new families feel welcome, because I do hear occasionally where, oh, I went to a 4-H meeting and I decided 4-H wasn't for me because nobody came up and talked to me or something like that. And I know, you have a lot on your plate, and don't get me wrong, I understand that completely. But maybe this is something you can have one of your officers do, or you can have another parent who's been in the club for a while do it, just making them, new families, feel welcome. And so it's important to make new families feel welcome. And some of the ways we do this is having an inviting environment. Make sure that people say hi to them, they're greeted. They have somebody who's kind of telling them about the meeting and what happens, and maybe explaining things. Also having greeters. I know some of our clubs have greeters that they elect every year. If you don't, maybe you assign it to whoever's doing refreshments or something like that, and they can greet all the members as they come in and answer questions and make sure. Be a friendly and helpful resource. So, even if I know you've got a lot going on because you're running meetings and helping your officers, but, maybe at the end, make sure that you try to say hi to those new families and introduce yourself and make sure that they know that you're there willing to help and answer any questions. It's important that we make parents feel welcome and valued. A lot of times we don't really want kids dropped off. And so part of that is to make sure parents feel like they're contributing and that they should be at the meetings. Also making sure everyone is in the loop, which I know in today's society, that's really hard. We all communicate in so many different ways, and there's always somebody who misses something. But, trying to make sure those, especially those new families, maybe reach out to them and make sure they're getting your Facebook messages, your text messages, your group me, your emails, however you're trying to do it. And then you want them to form meaningful connections. So if they feel like they have some connections within your club, they have friends, they're more likely to come back. And then promoting a sense of family and culture. I'm a big proponent of this. I've always felt like my 4-H clubs growing up was kind of an extended family. I had parents who were looking out for me if my parents weren't around. Sometimes maybe a little too much, but no, it's all good. So, it's just important that you have that family and culture, and you want to make accepting of everybody. So, that's the other thing I hear every once in a while is I didn't feel comfortable. They all went to the same school and did everything together. And, I understand that to some extent because I do feel like every club has its strengths and weaknesses, and you just have to find the club that fits the best for you. But I also, we also have to be warm and welcoming and include all people, no matter where they go to school, no matter what, whatever diversity they have. So it's important that we do that. Okay. And then one other thing, just to kind of be a reminder, this came from, I did insert this slide really quickly this afternoon after I got done with my Zoom call from Kansas 4-H, but 4-H club minimum requirements. So 5 or more youth members from 3 or more families, 2 or more fully screened adult volunteers. If you do not have either one of those, we need to talk. So I'm sure we'll be, please contact me about that. We'll put together a plan of action, all of those things. Constitution and bylaws are supposed to be in file in the extension office. If you've updated yours, please give those to us so that we have them on file. We keep Lynn counties are in Mound City and Miami counties are in Paola. But, if you want to give them to me, that's fine too. Democratically elected youth officers. When they say democratically elected, I think there's several ways you can go about that still. But, you just don't want it to be the same person year after year without being elected. And then each member, enrolled in at least one project. So, which I think they have to, when they enroll in 4-H Online, be enrolled in at least one project. But so that's the minimum requirements for a 4-H club in the state of Kansas right now. And those have been around for a while, but it's another thing they're kind of cracking down on that as well, and really wanting to try to strengthen their 4-H club, or 4-H clubs in the state of Kansas. So if you're struggling, if your club doesn't quite meet those, please let me know, and we will talk and try to figure out what we can do to help move it along. So,
Carla, I have a quick question. A couple of years ago, we adopted some bylaws because we didn't have one. Is there a difference between the Constitution and bylaws, or is that one document name?
it's usually one document in Kansas 4-H, but there is parts of the document that says Constitution and parts of it that say bylaws.
Okay.
So
do you have an example you can send out to us?
Yeah, there's examples out there.
Okay.
And if you used one of our examples to draw up your bylaws, you probably did, but if you
Yeah,
didn't,
we borrowed one from Pottawatomie County or somebody.
okay, Yeah.
But I don't, it doesn't say anything about Constitution. I just typed it up actually today. So I'll need to check on that.
okay. I will send you a copy of the sample from the state.
Thank you.
Any other questions about all of these things? We've kind of went through a lot of things.
This is Rebecca. As leaders, do we get like a printout or access somehow of the members that are registered, that have registered or enrolled in projects and what they enrolled in? Is that like information that's shared with us, or do we just need to ask the members?
Okay, so as leaders, I give you guys access to your club information in 4-H Online. However, you have to enroll before I can do that. So if you guys can all enroll, like as soon as it opens October 1st, I would like to have you all enrolled by November 1st, and then we can get that out. And there's a password you have to use and different things. But if you're not enrolled for this current year, there's nothing I can do to get you that information. So, but then you should be able to see who's enrolled, who hasn't enrolled, who's payment pending, what projects they're in, run reports for your club, all of those things. So, and that's something I probably should do here the next couple trainings, is maybe go over 4-H Online again, because we do have some new families and kind of how to navigate it.
Okay, so I myself enroll. I don't know if I've done that before.
Okay, you should have, because if you're a screen volunteer, you've enrolled in the system in 4-H Online.
Okay.
So it's basically when you go in, like just like you're enrolling your kids, and we'll send this out to all of you. It'll have the adult version as well there on the 1st of October. But you basically go in just like you're re-enrolling your kids, and under your family name, it lists your kids' names and then probably Rebecca Little. And so then you'll click on that and you'll re-enroll yourself as a volunteer. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, sorry, making notes. Anything else? Any other questions so far? Oops, and I did that wrong, but okay. It says enrollment. It's not enrollment, sorry. This is about 4-H, National 4-H Week. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of this. So National 4-H Week is October 1st through the 7th. I'm not sure. I can't find the theme. Julie says she found the theme, and it's I love 4-H. It could be. I haven't seen anything for sure that said. So if you find a different theme, that's okay too. We're fine with that. But I just kind of wanted to give you a national heads up about National 4-H Week. I'm not sure if what all we're going to doing. We'll probably have a dress up day one of the days. Kansas has not rolled out their National 4-H Week promotional ideas yet. So when those come out, we'll try to let you know. And it might be something that our new program manager works on in this next month. So hopefully we can have it. But just to kind of let you know that October 1st through the 7th is our National 4-H Week this year. And then window displays and posters. So hopefully you all kind of know what a window display and our poster contest is. Window displays are for clubs. They must be in place by, well, either one of them. Posters are for individuals. Kids can do it. And they're just basically our promotion. It's a big promotion around that October 1st to promote 4-H in our communities. So they must be in place by Monday, October 2nd. Well, or on Monday, October 2nd. I am asking that you email photos to Tracy Lindsay, and her email is there by October 3rd. And in the emails, you need to include the email location of the display or poster. And for posters, also includes the age of the member who made the posters. Posters need 1 to 2 different photos from different angles, including one of the poster hanging in the location. Displays need 3 to 4 photos from different angles. I know sometimes it's hard because sometimes there are windows and the glare, but try your best. If you need to do a few more to get those to stop that glare, that's fine. Winners will probably be posted on Facebook, and awards are also announced at achievement celebrations in November. So it's a great way. I think it is a good way to get us out and about in the public. Think about some different places that kids are to see where your locations are. If you can hang posters in schools, posters are great in schools. I actually remember I was a 3rd or 4th grader, I believe, and I did a poster for National 4-H Week when I was young, and I hung it in the school, and I had like 3 or 4 people come up to me afterwards and ask, after that hung there, and ask how to join and if they could join 4-H, and a couple of them actually joined 4-H. So it is a good way to kind of get that, especially if your kids are willing to kind of talk up 4-H to them as well. So good places to do it is, of course, schools, places that kids hang out, sporting, even some of the sporting, if you can put them at a ballpark or something. I know they're kind of out in the middle of everything, but anything you can kind of do that would be great. And think outside the box, we call them window displays, but I kind of am okay with them being just a promotional, if you can think outside of the window too. So okay. All right. Any other questions, any concerns that you all have while we're here, or anything that's come up that we need to talk about?
Carla, can I mention something we discussed the other night at Junior Leaders was having all the kids enroll in their specialty projects. If they're like in rabbits, enroll in the rabbit club so that we can share that information. And if we just get it out to the leaders, maybe they can announce it at their meetings.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we discussed at fair, I talked to a couple of different families that didn't realize that there was the rabbit club. I'm the rabbit club leader for Miami County. And so they didn't realize that we had a rabbit club and that they could come to the meetings and get extra information. So it was suggested that maybe at enrollment time for those families to enroll into those projects that have those extra clubs so that they can get that extra information. So if you guys could just pass that along to your clubs in the next month when you're talking about enrollment, maybe some of those people will enroll and then we can get them the information that they need so they have the right project and for projects when they come to fair. Because we had a family that didn't have technically showable rabbits. We let them show, but they were crossbreed rabbits, and so they didn't place as good as they could have if they'd have had purebreds.
Okay. Thank you, Casey.
Carla,
Yeah,
sorry. Speaking of specialty clubs, I've had some families ask me about chickens. Is there a chicken club in our district?
We used to have a poultry club. I have somebody who, well, not this year's fair, but last year's fair said they would take it over, but then they never got any farther than that.
Okay.
So I'm not saying right now, we used to have one. Right now it's not going because we don't have leaders for it.
Okay. Okay.
Which
Thank you.
I'll be honest, that horses in that right now, Miami County horses in that same boat as well. So
Okay. Good to know. But there is one in Lynn County, right? That they could attend if they wanted to drive that far.
for horse?
Yeah.
Yes. Not for poultry, I don't believe.
Okay.
But I could be wrong on that.
I saw some information out there last year that they were like advertising the horse club was that they had some workshop or something, and I told some members about that. But
yeah, and I don't think their horse club meets real regularly in Lynn County either.
Okay,
but I do think they do some things. So yeah, And that's
Those
always a
help.
possibility.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Paula did mention here in the chat, Paula Gardner said that if you have somebody who has some poultry questions, she'd be happy to
Okay.
help. So
Thanks, Paula. Great.
any
So
other
I
questions?
would just add on the poultry thing that Jenica Barker, who is one of the other Cadmus club leaders, she's our poultry leader for our club, and she's interested in starting up a countywide or even a district-wide
Okay.
poultry club. So I know she started talking to Abby a little bit about that. So maybe you guys can all get your heads together
Yeah, it wouldn't be
for how
bad
to
to have
make
it
that come
district-wide.
about.
Okay, that sounds great. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, well, thank you all for all your hard work this year. I know some of you are staying on as club leaders, and some of you will be kind of turning the reins over to somebody else this next here in October. But I appreciate all your work. Thank you for all you've done. And like I said, if anything you need, please, give me a call, email, text, whatever it takes. And I might not always know the answer, but I'll try to find out, and we'll definitely have a discussion about it. So I appreciate all your work, and thanks for keeping our MdC District 4-H program going and our club strong.
Thanks, Carla.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.